This channel is sponsored by All Things Aquatic, a fast-growing online store for all your reefing needs. We are offering £5 off every order of £100 plus and free next day delivery. Just click on the link in the description below or use discount code Nathan5.
Okay, hello folks, welcome back to the channel. So the big 1 year update, we always do these with all the reef tanks that we do. Obviously we do different progression through the months, but the 1 year marker is quite a big important one, because it's usually about the time when a reef tank sort of comes onto form, where everything sort of becomes real stable, matures bacterial wise and whatnot, and things start to get really good. With all my experience over the sort of 25 years of reefing, this is the point, anywhere between sort of like 9-10 months, 14-month marker. You've usually got your dosing and your nutrients under control. Any issues with algae and problems you get in that first year are usually sorted out, and you're on a sort of home run really, with everything sort of growing out and starting to look really good. So we're 1 year in on this tank. If you follow the channel, you'll see all my progression on different reef tanks I've done recently. And this tank, coming from the little Max Nano, wanted to obviously do a slightly larger reef, managed to get this tank at a really good price used, and I thought we'd just roll with trying to do like another Reefer 250. If you follow the videos, you'll remember my Reefer 250. So that's what we did with this tank. But this tank, what I wanted to do is put into place a few different methods that I haven't tried before. What I usually do, that I've had really good success with, if you've seen my previous tanks that I've been really chuffed with and have turned out really good, matured out lovely, everything's growing fantastically, is I've used the Red Sea method. So that's using Red Sea salt, Red Sea dosing solutions, and by what Red Sea say really, with nutrients and stuff, keeping nutrients low. This tank I wanted to experiment with different roads, different techniques, different salt, different dosing techniques and methods, and experiment with pushing the boundaries really to see what I could get away with. Now that's not always a good idea to do in the first year, because the first year you can have problems anyway. So if you're trying something new as well, you don't really know what's really going on with what effects whatever you're using is having. So anyway, I thought I'd just dive in, transfer the stock from the little Max Nano over, expand the rock work and add some more corals. Now I've been really lucky with this tank actually. I've not purchased one coral in this tank. We transferred all the corals from the little Max Nano over. Annoyingly, like you get problems with first new tanks you start up, especially the first year. We had some sort of bacterial infection. Something happened where I lost at least half of the corals from the Max Nano that come over, which was really annoying. But luckily, I've got a really good friend, reefing friend of mine, was having a big frag down of his system, so he gave me loads of frags. And I was lucky as well, I got all this live rock, really mature 10-year plus live rock, all given to me. So I haven't really actually spent much inside the tank at all. Obviously it's been costly speccing the tank, but I wanted to keep this tank really basic as I could get it, equipment wise. I don't want to go too techy with it, and I wanted to see how simple we could run it. So I thought, let's go down the road of trying to run the tank like I did the Max Nano, with no filter sock and with a different dosing method. Instead of using Red Sea's salt and Red Sea's dosing solutions, I thought let's switch it up. Let's try a different salt. Let's try, which is very popular, the Fritz salt. And let's try an all-in-one dosing solution, which we went for the Tropic Marine All for Reef. Let's see how we get on with that. Keep it nice and basic in the sump, just literally a protein skimmer, biological filtration, and a doser for one line of dosing with one dose solution, All for Reef. Trying to control our nutrients via water changes, sort of 25% a week, and a bag of carbon, maybe a bag of Roaphos to control our phosphates. and see how we get on. So we've run with that, and it was doing okay till up to a certain point, where things just weren't really happy. I had a lot of corals that just weren't doing anything, weren't growing. Some were, some weren't. So I got to, a month ago or so, and I thought, right, I've tried that route. It's doing okay, but at this stage I would have expected it to be really booming. As all my tanks come online around the year marker, you know you've nailed it and everything's doing well. You always get that occasional coral that's not doing okay, but pretty much everything should be thriving. And it wasn't. So I'd say 50% it was, 50% wasn't. So I thought, let's stop this this experiment now and go back to what I know, and I know works, the formula that works every time, and that is Red Sea. So we switched back out to Red Sea salt, and we got all the Red Sea dosing solutions back in, and we decided to get our nutrients down. And we were plagued with a lot of algae issues with this tank, hair algae, not massive, but quite a bit of it, running up because I was running high nutrients, so we needed to push the boundaries with that, which you shouldn't really do in the first year. But I just wanted to experiment to see what happened. But yeah, colour of corals were sort of browning out, looked drab. So yeah, got nutrients back down again, lowered off phosphates and nitrates, and went on with Red Sea salt and Red Sea dosing solutions, and kept trying to keep everything really, really stable. So we've done that roughly, made that transition roughly, I'd say, a month ago. Wow, what a difference straight away. I don't know whether it's coincidence with the tanks come on form because it's a year in, but I don't think so. I think it's because I've switched over, even after sort of 4 weeks now of going over to Red Sea salt. I do a 25% water change every week, so we're pretty much all Red Sea salt now. And we've been dosing Red Sea's Reef Foundation A, B and C solutions for about a month as well. So and we've got all our parameters very, very stable. We're running our alkalinity around the 8, and calcium's around 450, magnesium's about 1350. Nitrate's currently at 1 ppm and phosphate is 0.045-ish. Now I am experimenting with whether I can keep these nutrients to a minimum with just 25% water change with no filter sock, just protein skimming, and using a little bit of Reef in a bag in the sun. I find that this tank is quite a high bioload, that I'm struggling with phosphates. And usually phosphates in a reactor, Reef in a reactor sorts that problem out, and perhaps maybe we need to put a reactor on this system. But a bag of Reef, even a really large bag of Reef, doesn't really keep the phosphates down too low. They still hover sort of around that 0.05 marker. But what I have used recently, which I am experimenting with it still, is Blue Life's Phosphate RX, and I'm dosing. I've done a few doses of this now, so I'm just about to do another water change. I'll dose it again, just to see how low we can get it by using this. My suspicions are, and my friend at my LFS says that you probably won't get them lower than 0.03 using this, but we'll see. But I'll be happy at that, 0.03. Our algae issue is been fixed completely, or virtually. I'd say 95% of all my hair algae and bropsis is gone. I think it's a combination of bringing my nutrients down to an acceptable level and using this product from Blue Life, Flux RX, which is fantastic. Within a week or so, all the algae was just dying off. So that's a good product as well. And I know I've got this at my disposal in my armoury to, if I've got an issue of algae come up, I'm just going to hit it with this. I did think I was going to have to treat with the other product, Cyano RX, because I had a few patches of cyano come up where the algae died off, and but it seemed to have disappeared. So that's again another reason for that is probably because I've dropped my nutrients down as well. So I'm probably not going to have to dose that. I've dosed it once in this tank, cleared it literally within 2-3 days, all completely gone. but yeah, I'm not going to have to use it again, which is good. So where we go with this tank, I'm going to get the camera for the tripod in a minute and give you a little show around, see how things are really definitely turning around. Corals are definitely more happy and pumped up, colours coming back, we've got growth. We've even got some good growth on some of the difficult acros that we've got in here as well. Yeah, so all in all, I'm pretty, but yeah, you're always thinking, you know, how well the tank's going, and you're either pissed off or you're stressed out about it, but at the moment I'm quite happy with the way things going, and I definitely reckon it's all down to going back to Red Sea. If you find a formula that works for you, you should just really stick with it. For this tank, I just want to do a little bit of an experiment. Let's just go off the track a little bit and see if we had the same success with other products. But yeah, nah, we're going back to Red Sea and we're sticking with it. So I've got some really bad news actually. Recently is what happened. Very, very peculiar. Two of my favourite fish in here, my convict gobies, or engineer gobies, that I bought up from Tiny, been in here for 8 months or so. Both dead, both gone. Annoying, I don't know, it was really, really weird. They started acting funny. They moved their position from this sort of rock structure underneath this rock structure to this side, and then all of a sudden I sort of noticed their fins started going very sort of pale and frayed. I don't know if there's something in the sand bed that started irritating them or whatnot, but then the smaller one started to sort of have breathing problems. It's like floating around the tank, and sort of, you know, yeah, as with a marine fish is on its way out, you just know that that's it. So it got so bad where it's almost on its way out. I had to take him out. So let's see what happens to the second one. So my suspicions were the same thing was going to happen, and yet a week, 2 weeks later, the same thing happened with the larger one. Yeah, really weird. All the rest of the fish completely fine, so it's no, and I haven't introduced anything new, no new coral, no new clean-up crew, no new fish, nothing. So I know it's not something I've put into the tank, and all the other fish are completely fine. Don't know, really one of those peculiar things I'm probably never going to know. But yeah, annoying they've gone. Pluses are bioload has been reduced, obviously, because they were getting quite sort of near the 12-inch mark. They had to be fed sort of at least 2 or 3 times a day, had quite a big appetite on them. So anyway, they've gone. Will I replace them? No, probably not, because if there is something in the sand, whether it's a bristle worm or whatever irritating them that caused this this disease or whatever it was that killed them, it's probably going to happen again. So yeah, I won't put any more. I won't replace them. I probably won't put any more fish in this system anyway. The fish that are in here are really happy. Annoyingly, when you film, when I get the camera off the tripod, they've already go and hide probably. I'm going to put some food in the tank. But Penny, our regal tang, is just awesome. She's getting bigger and bigger by the day. She is going to get too big for this tank. I know that. I'm under no illusions that this tank won't be her final resting spot for the rest of her life. I will come on to that towards the end of the video. You'll probably know where I'm going with this. And yeah, so we got our copper band super healthy. That I put that down to one, getting a very good specimen from All Things Aquatic to start with, that's fully quarantined and eating well on Easy Reef's mastic. So when she went in, I just carried on with that, and what I do is I sprinkle New Life Spectrum pellets in with a putty ball on the little pipe here at the top, and she gets that every day for 10 minutes, sort of grazing on that, and that's why she's so plump and nice and such good health. Yeah, awesome fish, and cleared my aptasia, because there's loads of aptasia in here. There is still aptasia in here where she can't quite get, but any that come that you can see, bang, she gets it. 2 clowns, I'm sure they're laying eggs at the back here. They've got a layer at the back, I'm sure they're laying eggs. This sort of time, sort of a couple of years in that I've had them now from the Max Nano. They're doing great. The 2 wrasse are fine. I've got an algae blenny in here somewhere, and a Midas blenny as well, which has got a nice little hole here where it lives and darts in and out. having said that, I haven't seen my algae blenny for a few hours. I don't know whether that's gone. But anyway, we get the camera off the tripod, give it a little show around the tank and see how things are going. Bear with me. Right, so I've got the lighting and filter on the camera just so it you can see a little bit better. It's always difficult to get the right light to film with, but as you can see, I hope you can see on camera, the rock is really cleaned up from using Flux RX, like Blue Life. There's hardly any algae in here now. I've just put some pellets in actually to entice the fish out. But corals are really pumped. This frog spawn is, I'm not showing the right light, but the colours are really good. It's really pumped up. I've had a little move about in here, rearrange, as you have to do. Our hammer's getting bigger. I've moved that up to here, it's liking the higher light. Purple stylo, it's getting bigger and bigger, erupting new tips all the time. That's going to end up being a massive colony, that. I bought that one, it's just literally the size of your little finger, half the size of your little finger. When we got the Max Nano, so what, 2 years? The GSP is really spreading on the back wall now. I would imagine another month or two it's going to be covering that whole wall. All our SPS are doing well. Some of these acros are doing well at the top, erupting new growth. Not filming great, to be honest. Pink Hystrix, little tiny frag that was a month or so ago is sprouted up loads. We've got corals that weren't doing anything. This, I think it's strawberry shortcake here. It was just basing out but not growing up. It's now got multiple spikes all spiking up. Still got pulse coral in here. Moved it up here. You've got to keep that away from your main sort of scape really. That is, it's sitting on a rock that I can actually remove. But the idea is try and get it to grow up the back wall here. Had a little bit of frag down of this Asuta. Annoying coral, grows really quick. Got a funny growth pattern. So I might reduce that a bit more. A Duncan coral here. So many heads on it now. Started off with one head in the Max Nano. And now it's like, oh, I don't know, 50 plus. Weirdly, it's not branching up too much, but so it's just one big ball of it. This green Hystrix was like, you can't see it on camera, it looks a bit brown, but it is really green, really colouring up nicely. That's growing loads. Our plates down here, the red and green plates, really strolling together nicely. Yeah, everything's doing good. Zoas, Blasto, more Zoas down here. Annoying, I'm not really a big Zoa fan, but only because they just literally crawl over everything, so I'll try and keep them on their dedicated rocks really. And we've always, every reef tank's got a frag of something where you don't know where to put it. There's a little frag of GSP here, which I'll put down in this corner, so it'll probably grow up around here. One of our clowns is a female clown. Oh, there's a Zur damsel in here as well. Had that for a couple of years. Clowns I've had for a couple of years. Yeah, look at the rock. The rock's really cleaned up nicely, sort of that powdery look with coralline. So really happy. There's my algae blenny hiding away there. Yeah, all looking good. Flow's low at the moment, so for filming. Sand bed nice and white, no diatoms. Down in the sump, so we're fully over to all Red Sea now. So this is our doser. Alkalinity, calcium, magnesium. We're dosing Nopox, about 8 ml a day to keep the nutrients nice and low. We're doing Vibrant 7 ml a week. We're not actually using any coral nutrition yet, only because I need to be careful with nutrients. Once I've got the nutrients nice and stable though, I shall start using the AB Plus by Red Sea. We're also using the trace colours, all the trace elements from Red Sea. It's 1-2 mil a day. Sump is pretty bare bones. First reception chamber, nothing. I've raised the gate so all the detritus sits at the bottom, and once a week when I do the water change I just vacuum it all out. The Tunzi skimmer, doing awesome job. Brilliant skimmer that. Producing a really nice foam. And the last chamber we've got a return pump and heater and just our biological, which is the Max Spect BioBricks and the Biohome media, which I am slowly reducing the Biohome because it does trap a lot of detritus actually. So I'm reducing that slowly every week. Yes, all in all, doing really good. And obviously I predict that it's gonna just get better now. So, you know, I should obviously check in every month or so with an update progression, but I suspect all this SPS is now going to really erupt. I hope to obviously add some more coral. I want to get some barley slimer and some more sort of staghorns would be nice. I lost my really nice green barley slime I had due to the bacterial infection right at the start, so I want to replace that, maybe get a different colour one, something like a purple staghorn or something. But yeah, that's the idea, to get lots of SPS all growing up. But at the end of this year, I've got to admit, I probably, as I always do, are going to be upgrading. And what I go for, I really don't know yet. Well, I do know. I know what I've got a vision. I know what tank I want to go for. It's probably going to be custom. But the dimensions and stuff I'm going to go into in a different video. It is a separate video, the upgrade. But that won't be to at least at the end of the year, which before you know it, we'll be there. But obviously we intend to transfer all this livestock into the new one. So watch this space. But yeah, overall I'm really happy with how it's going. If you're new to this channel, obviously hit that subscribe. So apologies, this video has been a bit lengthy, but it is the 1 year update. And obviously hit that like, that really helps me out. Hit the like. Check out my son's channel, Corey Willard. I'll put a link in the description below. And I'll catch you in the next one.
This channel is sponsored by All Things Aquatic, a fast-growing online store for all your reefing needs. We are offering £5 off every order of £100 plus and free next day delivery. Just click on the link in the description below or use discount code Nathan5.